As I was saying, folks, sorry about that. Buddhism has to do with a lot of attention, a lot of concentration, and meditation. You know, as a Buddhist, you are somebody who is really focused. The Buddha tried to bring people's attention to the disease of life, the disease in life of suffering. Why do you suffer? Why do I suffer? And how can we truly and honestly extirpate suffering from our lives? How can we liberate ourselves from suffering as human beings? These are the secrets of Buddhism. So your mind is always attentive. You're always attentive on these important things, important issues, suffering. Okay? Every single point, discourse, observation, teaching that has come down from the Buddha, we as Buddhists, we pay attention to it. We try to focus. We try to look at it very honestly and very sincerely. When it comes to these objects of teaching, instruction, statues, pictures, okay, they remind us of values of Buddhism. As I gave example, we don't venerate them, we don't worship them. But we are grateful. Okay, when we see them, we burn incense because of what they represent. Compassion, kindness. These are good karmas, and it doesn't cost anything. Somebody may say, well, I don't have $1,000 to give to charity. I don't have $1 million to give to the poor, to give to the city for a general well to bring water to the place or to repair the bad roads. Yes, we don't all have to be millionaires. But you certainly have kindness in your heart. If you are attentive, if you concentrate, if you focus within yourself, you can cultivate what is called kindness, kind-heartedness. If you reach within yourself, you have kindness in your heart. You can be kind to living beings. You don't have to be cruel to animals. You don't have to destroy, be destructive. You can be kind. And that's a karma. That's an action that brings you good actions, that brings you good fortunes. So it doesn't cost anything to be kind. It doesn't cost anything to be compassionate. You see? So this is Buddhism. So automatically we practice kindness, we practice compassion, and we get the good rewards from these virtues, which essentially it doesn't cost a dime, it doesn't cost a cent, it doesn't cost anything to practice these virtues. So that's what those statues and statues represent. They represent important values in Buddhism that the Buddha encourages us to practice. We don't all have to be millionaires to be kind, to give to the poor, to give to the needy, to assist others so that we can get the blessings from these. If you reach within yourself, you're attentive, you can automatically practice these virtues. These are the points. That's what these statues represent. That's a good example. Now, if I may proceed, I would like to quickly cover the in Buddhist way places. I'm continuing to read. In Buddhist way places, the images of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have many appearances. This has often led to the misconception that not only is Buddhism a religion, but one that worships multi-deities as well. Indeed, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have many names. For example, in the Tripitaka, there is the 10,000 Buddha Names Sutra, which gives us over 12,000 Buddha's names and even more names for Bodhisattvas. Why are there so many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? Within our original nature, there exists infinite wisdom, virtuous and artistic abilities that cannot be completely represented by merely one name. It is similar to a highly accomplished person in a prominent position. His or her business card could have numerous titles. The names of the Buddhas represent the complete innate and virtuous abilities within our self-nature. All the Bodhisattva names represent cultivation of different virtues. The original abilities within our self-nature are infinite. The original abilities within our self-nature are temporary lost as well. Both infinite and temporary lost. Without genuine cultivation, we will not be able to uncover any of them. All the Buddha and Bodhisattva names are none other than ourselves. None other than ourselves. Once we understand this, we will realize that a high level of artistry represents the styles of the Buddha's teachings. For example, sculptures and pictures can express the Dharma. Understanding the true meaning of these images will help one to gain the true benefits of the Buddha's teachings. That's exactly what I was explaining just now. So when you see Buddhists burning incense or having these pictures, numerous pictures and numerous statues, you have to understand where we are coming from, where the Buddha is coming from, where the teachings are coming from. We call them the Dharma. Okay? All these numerous pictures, okay, they are reminders. They serve as reminders. Numerous statues, they all serve as reminders. What you need to find out as an intelligent person who wants to study Buddhism is you want to find out, what do these pictures represent? What do these statues represent? What virtue does this particular statue represent? What virtue does that particular statue represent? What virtue does this picture or that picture or the other statuette represent? These are the secrets. Once you find out the virtues that these various images or pictures represent, then you make a vow to begin to cultivate these virtues so that you can begin to radiate them and begin to attract the rewards from these virtues. This precisely is the objective of Buddhism. So we learn to understand things. We learn to understand our own sufferings and what we need to do to get away from the sufferings. We need to understand everything in our environment, all these things, all these pictures, statues, okay, images. We go into them. We try to find out what precisely they mean and how they are going to help us to get away from suffering. And once you begin to understand that, it's very far-reaching. The cultivation of virtues is the objective of Buddhism. Once we are able to cultivate virtues, we will be able to extirpate suffering, the very goal of Buddhism. Feel free to contact me. If you have any questions, do not hesitate. Contact me, c.aburime at hotmail.com, colorcollege@hotmail.com, COLOURCOLLEG@hotmail.com. Feel free to contact me. Do not hesitate at all. So these are the objectives. We study our environment. We understand what is going on. We study the pictures. Where did these pictures originate? What is the symbolism? What is the significance? What is the meaning of this picture? Where did these statues come from? What is the meaning of that statue? What does that statue mean? We don't just look blindly and assume and imagine. That's what the Buddha calls delusion. You become deluded. And delusion is actually a part of the cause of suffering. So when we are deluded about things, instead of trying to be intelligent about it, instead of trying to understand it, we just increase our suffering all the more. So in Buddhism, we try to study. We do a lot of studying to understand. When you don't know something, you study. You don't assume. You don't imagine things that don't exist, things that are not. Because when we are deluded about things that we don't understand, it's not going to bring an understanding. It's going to increase suffering. So we always try to study and understand things. Enjoy your study. Have a pleasant day, folks.